Everybody to the introduction to TechSoup digital marketing services, and we're going to talk about some use cases. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Aretha Simons. I'm the webinar producer here, and this webinar is produced by our partners at Tapp Network. I'm going to show you how you can engage. I know we have some returning visitors. I appreciate all of you guys being here, and you are on mute. So if you have a question, you can type them in the chat. We prefer that you use the Q&A so that we can answer your questions at the end. You're going to get the slides. These slides are so awesome. I love looking at their presentations. And you're going to get the video replied. There'll probably be some links on the slides that you can click on. There's going to be a survey that's going to pop up when you close this window. You may have to leave early. If you would do me a favor and answer those short 3 questions, because we want to know what other topics that you would like to hear from TechSoup and Tapp Network. If you need the closed caption, just turn on the CC button at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to turn this over to Joe. He is one of the co-founders of Tapp Network, and Lisa Quigley is here. Welcome, everybody. Have a great webinar, Joe and Lisa.
Great. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. And I'm Joe DiGiovanni with my colleague, Lisa Quigley. We're from Tapp Network. We are TechSoup's exclusive digital marketing and website development partner. And we're here today to go over the TechSoup marketing services that are available for TechSoup members. So we're super excited to share with you today. We'll go over a quick introduction of Tapp, who we are, and the services that we provide through TechSoup. And we'll also take a deeper dive into investment. What type of budget should you be investing in marketing at what stage of your nonprofit's growth? And then we'll look at use cases. There's generally 3 different ways we work with nonprofits. Sometimes it's on a project basis, and then small or mid-sized service retainers for these nonprofits that are in the early stages of their growth, and then full service retainers. This is where we are literally the agency of record or your outsourced marketing support team, and we'll go through some use cases and how to budget for that as well, and then we'll leave some time for questions and answers as well. So a little bit more on Tapp, and I'll breeze through this, but we're a purpose-driven marketing and technology firm. So like I said, with TechSoup, we handle or manage around 350 clients a year in the nonprofit space, and we work with government agencies as well. Our goal is to support nonprofits. We believe that nonprofits have the hardest challenge of all in marketing. You're doing B2B because you're working with stakeholders and businesses to drive sponsorships and corporate partnerships. You're working with the public, that's B2C. You're looking at grants, B2G, all these different ways to impact the community and look to support your funding. And it's super challenging. And we love that challenge. We come from the corporate world where we've taken everything that we've learned there and put it into best practices for nonprofits. So we're excited to serve all of TechSoup's members in that vein. And on the next slide, let's see. If you go to TechSoup's homepage, click on services, scroll down, you'll see digital marketing. And if you click on that, you'll see all the services that we offer through TechSoup. And if you click on website services, we do website services as well. Generally work with clients. It's a combination of both because they're so interrelated. And yeah, if you need to connect with us, just do that. So like I said, when we talk about marketing for nonprofits, it's a challenge. And we look at it in a flywheel approach, a growth cycle. For most nonprofits, when we think of marketing, it's generating brand awareness. So really doing that within the community, within your stakeholders, and then engaging with the community. And if you can engage with the community and drive impact, and you can measure that impact and share that impact back with your funders or stakeholders, they'll invest more. And it's really getting this flywheel to turn, which means you have a successful marketing campaign going, and that really helps you scale your capacity, scale your operations, and grow your nonprofit, and get back to your mission of supporting your community the best you can. So that's the lens we'll put on a lot of our marketing insights and strategy when we work with nonprofits. Okay, this is my slide too. Aligning investment with your nonprofit's size. So when we look at nonprofits, there's different sizes of nonprofits. Generally, the majority of nonprofits have revenue less than $250,000. So when we look at that type of revenue or funding, it's super challenging for you to make an investment in marketing. So we've developed some packages for you that you can still maintain your growth within your budget. So we'll take a deeper dive into that. And then for the other folks, above the next 20% that are starting to grow and hit the 7-figure range, there's more opportunities to get involved with an outsourced agency such as Tapp. But we'll cover the whole spectrum. So how much should you spend on marketing? General guideline is, if you're a $100,000 nonprofit, with a lot of our clients, they'll spend 5%, and that'll keep the lights on. That could be hosting, that could be sending direct mail or digital ads or something like that. But it's tough to spend. And if you're in growth or fast growth phase and you have more funding coming in, then sometimes the nonprofits will spend, another 10% on their marketing budget. But that's kind of a good rule of thumb. And then as you start to grow in the $250,000 range, then you're around up to 12%. And then with larger nonprofits, even you're almost working as like a business. Once you're in the $1 million range, that could be anywhere from 10 to 20%. So these are just ballparks. Every nonprofit's different, but at least it'll give you an estimate of what you should be spending without breaking the bank. So what does a typical marketing budget include? So when we look at a marketing budget, there's your traditional digital marketing. That could be, you definitely need a website, or in most cases. So that's website development and maintenance. Some money may go towards that. Content marketing, that's kind of middle funnel where you're educating folks with blogs or resources. Your social media, that's more awareness, but engagement as well. And you can even do some fundraising. And then there's paid advertising and email, of course. So that's your digital marketing. And generally, we'd like to tie in traditional as well. And that could be through QR codes that are on your traditional marketing, or you're driving people to a website. But that's print. If you have print, you have to print it. So hopefully you can get someone to volunteer printing for you. And then traditional marketing, that could be fundraisers, live events, races, and all these come together. And as you grow and you want to really track your performance, that's where you get into analytics tools and software. So it could be marketing automation where you're automating everything you're doing. You're building your database through a CRM. You're publishing content through your content management system, your CMS. So depending on what stage you're at, you may need a project where you're really addressing one of these. It could be a retainer, or you're fixing one of these one at a time, or you're improving upon them, or a full service approach where all these pieces are working together. And of course, there's personnel. If you try to do as much as you can in-house, and if that gets too expensive, then where do you flip the switch to have some outside help? And that's always a challenge and a question that we really want to look at the bandwidth you have and the expertise in-house. So that's kind of what makes up a marketing budget, and then we'll get into more detail. Great. So why focus on digital? So with digital, we're really we see traditional as a necessary thing that you need to do, but there's digital. So you want to drive donations through your optimized best practices. Mobile device, 63% of donations are on the mobile. Websites are super important. That's where you're going to make your first impression. And 25% of users who visit a website, if it loads more than 4 seconds, then you're losing them. So you really need to make sure all your different digital channels are working together. And of course, they need to be optimized for mobile. and accessibility. There's a huge push now, you know, in the government, it's mandatory that your site is accessible. So are you doing an accessibility audit? Can different populations or people with disabilities, are they able to read your website? And in most cases, they're not. So there's a big push for that too. But thanks to digital, these are things that we can cure. Lisa?
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. I love this slide because, well, first of all, I'm Lisa. I'm the Director of Digital Strategy here at Tapp. I've worked with nonprofits and government agencies with digital marketing, what we're talking about here today, for the past 20 years. And hopefully this isn't the face that you're making today, but we know that digital marketing and marketing in general can be very stressful. Getting people to hear your message, getting them to donate, getting them to fund. But we're here to make that a little bit easier with these different packages. So whether or not you're focusing on one big event, but you don't have time to do the social post, the print materials, the advertising. If it is a annual report that you've worked so hard to put all of the wonderful things that you've done, we're here to find a budget to make it easier for you. So again, Joe's going to go into our project-based marketing, and then we'll touch on our small to mid-size retainers, and then end up with our full service retainers and show you really examples of the work we've done so you can imagine yourself in one of these packages. Joe, you want to touch on our projects that we've done?
Yeah, so for a lot of clients, a lot of nonprofits that come through TechSoup, it's last minute, like any nonprofit, and they need help, right? So it could be we need a marketing plan for fundraising, or we need a database migration. We have everything in our old Drupal website, it needs to come into WordPress, or we have something in Constant Contact that needs to go into our donation management platform from a database migration standpoint. So all different projects that, these are customized, but what we'll do is TechSoup will sit down with you and understand the project, and we'll scope it out. But these are just some examples. So from a branding perspective, it could be someone needs, simply a logo, but they might need a logo, tagline, messaging, and a whole brand guide with all their different fonts, color codes, etc. So there's the branding aspect. In other cases, it's a project where they might not need an entire website, but they need the landing pages built for an event, or a microsite for a fundraiser, or even just their homepage redone. And of course, TechSoup, we provide full service customized website development as well. But for today, we're talking about marketing like projects. And then there's email workflows and automation. These projects involve, you may be sending out an e-newsletter once a month, but you want to make it more automated and customized and integrate it into your database. So we'll set up workflows and automation in that respect for your different audiences. The other things that we do is, for a lot of nonprofits, they'll publish their social media, and they may have a team on staff, a volunteer, an intern who will come up with the copy, but they need some really high quality social media templates. So we'll work with you on that. We can build them in Canva, we can build them in different platforms that you may use, and get you started from that perspective in terms of a project. Of course, there's SEO and Google Analytics. We have a team that will set that up for you. As I mentioned before, accessibility is now is really prevalent as something that needs to be addressed in the nonprofit space. So we can do audits and update your website so it passes the different accessibility scores. A lot of nonprofits come to us. They may already have a donation platform and need it to be set up or integrated into their website or some other channels they have. So we'll work with you from that perspective. And then the larger non-client, the larger nonprofits that we have, will eventually move into a more robust CRM, customer relationship management system. And with a lot of nonprofits, we're using HubSpot, which can basically run everything soup to nuts for your organization. And we'll give you some more details on that. But yeah, these are just an example of some projects, and it's a great way to get started with an outside firm or a supporting agency like TechSoup. And we'll go through some examples. Let's see. So yeah, from an example standpoint, you may be wanting to look at your marketing plan, or in this case, you're trying to influence the community to quit smoking per se. So we'll look at a different behavioral model. For fundraising, it could be the theoretical stages of change. For community impact, health belief model, there's many. But we'll look at your different audiences and see what model works the best, and then map the messaging, the automation, and the different channels together to do something like that. So on the next slide, just as an example, this was a birth control campaign that we used the health belief model for. So looking at the different audiences, the messaging at each life stage, and then creating the messaging at each stage of the model, where folks may, in the beginning, not even realize, they birth control could be a solution, how it's easily accessible, any, barriers to trying it, and then at the end, having the teen or the target audience make that positive behavior change and use it. This was a program we did with the federal government. But anyhow, this is just one example of a project where we can develop branding, messaging, and content around a particular project or campaign. And on the next slide, we get a lot of clients that come to us who may need an annual report or special project or brochure. So that could be, an annual report. In this case, the Health Literacy Council of Delaware, but then they also needed a brochure to showcase funders. On the right here, this is kind of fun. It's the annual report for Animal Welfare Association. And then they came back to us this year and wanted us to design the license plate for the Animal Welfare Association, which is really cute and cool as well. But all different kinds of projects, and it's just a matter of sitting down, understanding your audience. Annual reports, special project reports are super important. And then you can use these designs, logos, graphics, and really atomize them across different channels and social media. So it's always not one size fit all, but you can use that content and graphics across multiple channels, which is super helpful. Here's an example of Delaware Pathways. So this is a Department of Education program with the local nonprofit, and they came to us and they needed a complete brand guide. So here's the logos that we developed with the compass. And if you click on, I think if you click on this, it should take you to the actual, oh, here we go. So here's an example of, a nonprofit that needed a whole brand guide, everything from messaging to logo design, color palettes, and typography. So this is what we developed for them. And, every nonprofit's different. You might just need logos. You may just need to improve your font. In other cases, it could be messaging. But as you grow and scale, you're eventually going to need a brand guide. So if you're working with a printer or a designer, any type of developer, you'll have this and you can share it. And then you'll have consistency internally and externally when you're marketing your brand. So again, these are different Pantone colors, the different fonts that are part of the family, and the mood board to show the type of tone and voice that this nonprofit will have. And then the example of the logo on posters and social media. So yeah, what we generally do is develop the entire brand guide for a client. So yeah, this is just one example. And if you scroll to the next slide here, The other thing we do with nonprofits from a project standpoint is, like I mentioned, a CRM integration. And this is when, you know, you're working in silos. You may have, you know, your email marketing might be on one platform, your social media could be on Hootsuite, your fundraising could be on another platform, and none of these things are really connected. So ultimately, you want to get your databases connected. HubSpot's a great solution. It enables you to connect everything, manage everything. So if you make a change on your website, it will impact and ultimately positively affect your email workflows and then your social. And you're able to really start to pull all your campaigns and data together. These are larger projects that we'll do in terms of marketing, but it's something to be aware of as you're starting to scale your nonprofit. Again, just examples of projects where if you have a one-off need or you want to discuss you know, how you're going to grow your capacity, that's where we can come in through TechSoup to really support you and help you make the right decision to get to the next level. And here we have, this is the Tax Foundation, another nonprofit we serve through TechSoup. They were very interested in data visualization. So you can imagine, you know, all over the world, different organizations, government organizations, businesses will come to the Tax Foundation and they need to access data, and that data needs to be visually displayed in, you know, the appropriate manner. So we built all the back end for the Tax Foundation. Now, this is a large scale project, but for, you know, small to mid-sized nonprofits, we can help you visually visualize your data so you can show your impact, or you can show your fundraising, or show, you know, the kind of the challenge in your community and the ROI of investing in your nonprofit, all different ways to visualize data on a large scale and small scale. But these are typically a lot of nonprofits will come here as well. Let's see, next slide. This is the final project, but a lot of nonprofits will come to us with, you know, they're not ready to do their whole website over, but they really need a refresh on their homepage. And if you think of a homepage as a funnel for your nonprofit, you know, that's where you can make or break a donation, make or break signing on a member, or impacting someone from the community, or engaging a volunteer. And it's really, how does your homepage, how does it serve as a funnel where you're showing the problem, you're showing the solution. There's ways to get involved, easily get involved from a user experience standpoint, whether it's filling out a form or contacting someone directly at the nonprofit. But the goal here on the homepage is to really drive folks and get them into your funnel, from awareness to education to engagement, and then some form of action. So we may just start, we could do the whole website in that manner and really drive that whole ecosystem, or we could do it on a project basis, starting with a landing page or starting with the homepage. In this case, Hassan Minaj, the comedian, he was working with Vitality Cares, and we really brought his message and voice to life on the homepage. And then we did another landing page for the actual event, and I think they raised around $350,000 in one evening, just from marketing him and that event on their homepage, and then the engagement on the landing page for the event. So I hope that was helpful. I just wanted to give a couple examples of projects where you don't have to get fully involved with an agency, but you might be something that you could dip your toe in and work with us through TechSoup.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So on the other side of that, and going back to the last time we talked, and I showed you that picture of all of the team members being frustrated, small to mid-sized retainers can really help with those items that you have to do on a monthly basis that perhaps your team members or yourself, you just don't have time to do. So what does that look like exactly? And Aretha started this webinar with all of the things that we're grateful for, but if you wanted to put in the chat, we'll allow this space for things that really bug you about marketing websites. So is it that, you know, you're expected to write and post a blog every month? Google Analytics or the analytics that you use for your website. It's amazing. We can get great data, but sometimes accessing that to be able to write these annual reports can be a pain. Social media. I'd love to hear and share your social media accounts, but who within your organization is responsible for creating that design? And as Joe was talking about a little bit earlier, when working with Tapp and TechSoup, we take it a little bit further from the onset. We can really talk about your marketing plan, and what that looks like is figuring out who your audience is, what your messaging is for those particular audience members. What platform are they on? We may have them all, from Meta to X to Instagram to TikTok, but which one is right for your audience? So we help figure that out during the first phase of the marketing audit and plan. And then with these smaller retainers, say that you have a website, it's pretty good, you got your logo, but you need to change and update. You need to fix some bugs. So this is really perfect for if you have any of those complaints, a small to mid-size retainer. And I had not changed my slide, but there you go. You'll get these slides. We have marketing plans. We can work on your messaging, web maintenance, social content, Google Analytics, and blogs. The price per month. It ranges between $500 and $1,000 per month, depending on what your needs are and how many hours. But if 1 month, you really want to focus on social posts, we'll be able to put those hours towards those social posts. So we are flexible, and we can evolve as you evolve with these small to mid-sized retainers. And we're going to just go through a few examples of different projects that we've worked on. And again, I would love to see in the comments if you are currently working on a project like this, or what else, what you have planned for in the future. So this is a great campaign that we did for Washington State Community Connectors. It was one of our retainers that we had monthly digital strategy meetings. As a part of that, we created our marketing plan, which included 4 personas, which is the target audience, but you really get in depth of who that audience is. We then said, how do they find this nonprofit, and what is the messaging towards each of those personas? We monitored the current content of this client, and then we figured out, where do we want to go from here and what messaging? So then we established that we were going to provide 1 blog per month, 1 long form downloadable ebook, or something that would engage and we could use as a call to action. And we did 4 to 8 social media posts per month. So this was just one of our clients. And again, be sure if you have any questions about any of these packages, be sure to put them in it, and we're happy to address those. Some other services that we offer as a part of our small to mid-size retainer: monthly newsletters. Email is proven. We showed that up for return on investment. People are engaging. It's a great way to inexpensively engage with your members, your donors, anybody who you're trying to reach. But sometimes it takes a long time to put them together or to write the content. So we love doing this for our clients, and then also measuring what was the open rate, what was the click rate, what are people responding to, and really designing it in a way that your audience would be able to navigate. We get them to do the action that you want, whether or not it's to donate or download your plan. So these are just a few examples that we've worked on here. All right, we'll go into our full service marketing campaigns. You want to take over, Joe?
Sure. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, so to recap, the small service retainers, they're based on hours of work. So if it's a $500 a month retainer, that's generally around 400 4 hours a month. So we'll meet with you each month, determine what your needs are, look at the hours you have allocated, and then address those needs that month. Sometimes it'll carry over, but that's generally the way that the small to medium marketing retainers work within that more affordable cost range. And then for full service marketing retainers, that's where we come on board and really serve as your outsourced marketing agency or your full service marketing agency. So in this case, it's full spectrum. We'll come in, we'll do your strategy, we'll work with you on branding, messaging, and design. We'll look at your technology integration, make sure all your systems are connected, connect them appropriately, and then, launch omni-channel campaigns. Omni-channel meaning we're going through different channels, and as your user is going through those different channels, whether it's social media, then they see a billboard, or they visit a website, or they're on CNN and see an ad. All those pieces are connected, and we'll run those types of campaigns, as well as digital and traditional advertising, event marketing support. How do we tie all that in? And of course, social is a piece of all that. So that's generally how our full service marketing retainers work. Sometimes we'll focus on one, two, or three of these, or in other cases, we'll serve as your full service agency and do all of it in partnership with your team. These are more expensive, anywhere from 5,200 to 9,000 a month and above. Again, we'll meet with you, look at your needs, look at the capacity you have internally, and come up with a customized scope of work that meets your particular nonprofit goals, revenue, costs. We'll take a look at all that and really customize a plan. So these are just examples. Of course, they're based on the hours that we generally would put into a campaign. And with these types of retainers, we're really working to make a specific impact, whether it's fundraising or community engagement, all part of what we do here. So I'll just give you an example of a full funnel type campaign. So for Safety E, it's a initiative through the federal government to help support consults around businesses becoming safer workplaces and offering free consultations so they can pass any OSHA certifications. So what we did it was called Health and Safety Industrial Affairs Consultations. I think that was the name of the brand. So we came up with Safety E as the new name of the campaign, and developed the whole new logo, branding, redid the website, and just a whole overhaul. As you can see in the middle, just different ways that the logo is used, everywhere from T-shirts to print to billboards. That whole branding initiative, baked it into a whole new website. And on the back end of the website, we integrated HubSpot. So this particular organization, they have to target beauty salons, they have to target restaurants, they need to target employees. There's so many different types of businesses by SIC code that will have different messaging. So by doing that, we're able to segment all these different audiences, all the different messaging. And as we capture that information on the website through forms, it goes into the back end, and then we're able to do campaigns. And that's exactly what we did for them. The other neat thing we did is there's a firm called Zoom Info, not the Zoom for webinars, and they have the largest database of email addresses of folks in the business sector, nonprofit, and government, and by SIC code. So we are able to send email and text messages to individuals within these businesses, business owners, and that was the way we raised awareness, sent them to the website. They got interested in the program, continued to educate them through text messages, and drip email campaigns to ultimately where they would go and request a consultation, which was the goal of this program. Similarly, we do the same thing, same type of methodology when it comes to fundraising. What's the direct outreach to make your potential funders aware of your organization? How do we message them? How do we bring them in? Whether it's Google Analytics or search engine optimization. Someone asked a question about how do I appear on Google, and we'll get into that. But driving people to the website and converting them. So here's an example of kind of all the pieces coming together right here for SafeDE. And we think we have one more example that's fun as well. Lisa will go into this, but this is the It's Time campaign for the city of Wilmington, where we stepped in and managed all their marketing as well.
Yep, thanks, Joe. I'd love to be able to share some of our clients' work, and this account has been one of ours that we've had for a couple of years, and it started as an initiative to take a city, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, and really change the narrative. So again, working close with what is the goal and who's our audience. And we were able to create step by step, not only the branding and the tone and the messaging, but also their social outlets, starting with just a few and being able to grow that. We introduced TikTok last year, and also a single landing page that would act as a campaign landing page to gather information, to give out resources, to now truly fully interactive. You can see the different aspects of the new website that we're launching. So it definitely does not all have to happen at once. We take piece by piece, and we can grow these marketing campaigns over time. We're now assisting with live events that tie in with some pretty cool technology. We have 360 cameras that are out that people can take fun pictures at live events, but then share them. And again, really, this campaign started out 4 more years ago as a way to change the narrative on a city. And through that, we've been able to add different social platforms, messaging, and really grow our audience, grow their audience, and accomplish a lot of different goals. So yeah, this is a fun one, and one that we're definitely proud of, and keep an eye on. There's links here if you want to check out the web pages and the different things that we're adding there. How it all ties together. Joe, you want to take the funnel?
Sure. So this is kind of the summary slide, but when we work with clients, whether it's a project basis, small retainer or large retainer, we kind of like to do a snapshot of where they're at and what they're trying to do with their audience. So it's really about attracting people to your site and activating them. At the top of the funnel, that's your marketing funnel. It's about driving awareness and reaching people who are unaware of your nonprofit or of the challenge you have. And from a technology standpoint or marketing standpoint, that's mostly search engine optimization, PPC, that's pay per click. So you're doing some advertising, social media, and blogs. And that's really raising awareness and just getting people to know that you exist. And then the middle of the funnel, that's more education. So we'll work with the nonprofits to see, well, how educated is your audience and how engaged. And that could be, that's mainly the lead nurturing. So someone will come to your site, you want to capture their email address, so then you could really start to engage them and educate them through opt-in emails and newsletters. That's the second part. That's really where they're considering to donate, or they're considering to be a part of your program. And at the bottom of the funnel, that's where they support your organization. That's where they pull the trigger and they convert. They're signing up for donations, they're volunteering, they're attending events. And again, there's the messaging involved there. There's the different channels at the right time in the right place. That's where your CRM comes into place. And then really it's about getting them to refer others or to come back and become advocates or volunteers. So it doesn't end just there. We have their information in the database, and then we'll put campaigns together to further activate them. And then all the behavioral science that comes along with it on the right-hand side. So that's generally one way you can look at your nonprofit, see where you have the holes, where you may need help. You may have the messaging down, but at the end you're missing conversion rates, or you get people to the site, they're converting, but the challenge is how do we get folks to come to the website with a limited budget? So these are all things to take into consideration. Some of these could be project-based, others can be nipped at, through a monthly retainer. But our goal is really to help you pull all this together in the short term and in the long run.
Awesome. Before we get into some questions, which we have some great questions going in there, we wanted to be able to provide you with some free resources that complements a lot of the things that we were talking about today. Joe mentioned as a part of putting all of this together in a funnel, a lot of our clients use a CRM. Potentially one we talked about was HubSpot. A lot of our clients use that. So here is our free guide to everything that you need to know about choosing a CRM. We also have a hot topic, AI, and how to utilize AI for your nonprofits. Another great free ebook there. A lot of working with AI and developing content are all about the prompts that you deliver the AI to get the results that you want. So over 80 pages here of everything that you would need to know to utilize AI for your nonprofit, for fundraising, for marketing, for e-newsletters. So there is that. And I'd love to answer some of the questions we got in the chat now. Rick asked, how are the results of marketing campaigns measured? And that's a great question. And thanks, Kelsey, for answering. She is certainly right that we can measure campaigns in a variety of different ways, from website visits to social media followers to, you name it, return on investment for ads. What we like to do is establish what the goals are first, what our platforms will be, what's that most important measure or goal you're trying to accomplish, and measure that. Is it in donations? Are you trying to raise awareness? Is it in event tickets? So yes, 20 years ago, we did not have the technology to be able to measure all of our marketing. Digital marketing, for sure, there are the tools to be able to measure everything down to the click. See if there's any more.
Sure. Here's in the Q&A, how to get people to your website via Google search using certain words. There's a couple ways to do that. You can buy keywords on Google. So let's say you are a diabetes foundation and you want to buy the keyword diabetes volunteering or diabetes support. And you can advertise to folks who are looking up that keyword, and you could specify, I want to target folks who are looking up this keyword phrase within these zip codes and within this age range, etc. So you can really hyper target and literally purchase those keywords, and it'll usually be a cost per click. So let's say the cost per click is $1. Every time someone clicks, you're charged $1. If 10% of those people convert into a funder, then your cost per conversion, getting back to metrics, would be $10 per conversion. And if they're donating $20, well, then there you go. You have a positive ROI. It's not as simple as that, because it's you have to do a lot of testing, but that's one way to do it, is to purchase the keywords. The other way is really about search engine optimization. So it's about having fresh content that's related to the search. How many people are visiting your site or linking to your site? Is your site being mentioned in articles and social media? And there's so many different levers to pull for search engine optimization, but that's another way to do it too. So when people do search those keywords, you're not paying for them, you're organically coming up higher in the search results, and folks are clicking and going to your website. There's another question. Is TechSoup being supported when we do business with you? Anytime we work, any client that comes through comes directly through TechSoup. So you would wind up paying TechSoup. They would invoice you, and then we provide a very nice discount to all of our clients through TechSoup. So you'll see what you've been seeing is the discounted pricing. So anything that we provide is the contract that you have is with TechSoup. Here's in the web chat. Yeah, Google gives, not for Google grants, you can get 10,000 a month for Google Ads. You have to go through evaluation process where they'll look at your website, evaluate that to make sure it's up to par. And yeah, you can get $10,000 a month up to $2 per click. So that's another service we provide where people will go try to get their Google ads and then come back to us if they in case they don't pass the mustard with Google. We'll help you get your website straightened out to do that. And even some cases we'll manage that budget for you. But yeah, it's a really generous program. You can get over $100,000 in advertising through a year through Google. See, any other questions? And if you go to the website, we also have a free consultation. I'm sorry, not a free consultation. I think it's $49, and you can speak with one of our subject matter experts, and they can answer any questions you have. If there's a particular problem, SEO, coding, anything around marketing. So we have very low cost consultation services as well. And again, if you scroll to the website, click on digital marketing, you'll come across all that. Awesome. Well, if anyone else have any questions, we'll give you your time back. We're here to help. We'll share this deck with you. It's got a link to the free guides, our contact information. And of course, you could reach out personally as well if you have any specific questions.